PG tips.
Mate, I've gone nowhere. We're doing 2 in 1. Let's shatter the illusion instantly.
Listen, as much as we do agree on lots of things, we found something else that we do disagree on. What we disagree on is how quickly that we should bulk people into consultants. So therefore, how quickly, it doesn't matter what you call the role, does it? Whether you call it junior team lead, mentor team lead, business manager, don't worry about the title, think about the job. How quickly you should bulk people into people.
Well, what do you think? Because I know I got the right answer.
I think let them show a level of mastery as a recruiter first of all, and then put someone into them as quickly as you can. I think allow them to be a champion in an individual area and get them some coaching, and then put someone into them.
So I, for people who don't know, I was kind of like part of the infrastructure management and ownership of S3.
Yeah.
I was responsible for 50% of group profit and a headcount. So me against another 11 businesses. So half the time I'm wearing group hat, half the time I'm wearing CF hat or CF channel. 11 businesses, if they all open one profit center each, I had to open 11 to retain my slice of the pie.
Your internal market share, if you like. Yep.
So how on earth do I do that? How on earth do I find 11 people?
And
so
just to say, all of those business units were self-funded by the previous business unit, right? There was never any external funding.
And they had to grow profitably.
Yeah.
Because it was all about contribution of profits. It wasn't about who pissed up the most lampposts. It was who was generating the most profit.
So just for the initiated here, every single time you're bolting someone new and there's a desk cost attached to that person immediately, and you're only growing through profitability. So that's a tough gig. Right?
So back in the day, we were doing 10-4, which is 10 grand per head or 2.5K a week on contract.
Yeah.
And my cost per desk is 4. Today it's about 15.5. You know, you can sustain that. So you're making 10 grand per person. Flat month, you're making 120 grand. Get 10, you make it 1.2. Get 100, you're making 11 point. Right.
And you're breaking down your headcount triggers whilst you're bringing people in. Nicely.
Always, trigger. Right. So we learned a couple of tricks along the way. One, the newest person through the door had to have a training book, and everything that they were taught and learned on the job, they were responsible for training the next newbie through the door in front of their direct boss.
Manage or be managed, yeah?
Well done. Manage or be managed. And these people had to basically repeat verbatim the stuff that they were taught 2 or 3 days ago to next newbie, which meant training was something that they took on board from day one. The worst case scenario is you wait 2 years while someone has gone through trainee, recruiter, senior recruiter. Then you say, just when they're starting to make proper dollar, now you're going to be responsible for somebody else. And they go, don't want it.
Yeah.
But if you do it day one, absolutely brilliant. And then if you get someone who looks like they've got all the competencies, the right skill set, the right attributes, and do you know what? It's in a true meritocracy, they just got that magic X factor, although it's been dropped by Simon Cowell. If they've got the right person, I'll give them 2 trainees with a view to saying you're on 20 grand a year base, although Dean would say it was 20 grand a year base, you're going to get 2 people. Once you're all giving me 15 grand, so collectively, as long as everyone contributes, they don't all have to do 15 grand, but collectively you're generating for me 45 grand in a month. You'll go from trainee recruiter through to billing manager. No speed cameras. You've done that. You've proved to me that. And nobody can argue with it. They're doing it. Now, I haven't paid them for the privilege of training those 2 trainees. That's their commitment to show me that they can. And then they go from a 20 grand basic to a 35 grand basic, 2 grand per person, as long as they stay with them, 2% of anything they bill, 4% of anything over target. Easy peasy. And then they're off. And then I've got a new profit center. I'm off.
You're off and running.
So I can do 11 of them a month.
Yeah. So interestingly, there's no names, no Patreon. There's a really successful agency that was posting in our group last week about one of the criteria for promotion for these people was they had to deliver a training course and master a training course before they moved up to. I know that's a diluted version, but I found that quite interesting seeing that in the group. And he's ex-S3, so that was quite interesting. And we both know that is.
the recruitment is a marathon. It's a collection of very short sprints.
Yeah.
So in this moment in time, look, when the going gets tough, just go home, right? Just go home, because it doesn't matter how hard you work. It's going to make a marginal difference to the profit you're going to make. So keep your powder dry, stay sane, keep it real. The minute the going gets good, kiss your loved ones goodbye, take your sleeping bag, sleep under your desk. Don't go home until you've got a bigger car and a bigger house. And that's the moment we're in at the moment. So if you think you're going fast, go faster. If you think you're doing well, you're not doing brilliantly. This is that time. If people are thinking, well, I really need a summer holiday, well, I'm taking a bit of time off in August, like I won't be working. Because it never gets better than times like this. So to answer your question, I think they should be taking responsibility. If I take a trainee on today and there's one in tomorrow, he's training that person, because I don't want to teach them which end of the phone to hold, where the toilets are, and how to make a cup of tea. I don't want to do that basic stuff. Somebody else can deal with that. What's the biggest asset most businesses have got? The boss's time. So take it away from you. Give it away to other people.
Okay. So a few things here then. So firstly, one of the mistakes that I see so often in the businesses that I work with is they don't have leadership as a competency when they're interviewing people, right?
Yeah.
So, and then they never find out whether the person they've interviewed started an illegal tuck shop at school, or had a valet car cleaning business at weekends, or the odd illegal rave, or they never find that out. So what we're not doing is we're not allowing to understand those capabilities before we even get those people. That's the first thing, right? The second thing is absolutely no speed cameras. Totally agree, right? What I see, and actually one of our most successful courses this year that we've done has been the FLIP, which is the Future Leaders Ignition Program, which effectively stops those new leaders getting bad habits, right? So they're operating, driving those good non-negotiables really, really well. They've got a decent methodology for accountability. Right, they understand how to deal with something when one of their recruiters, the machine breaks down, it goes wrong. And that's the only difference for me, is I want to give them that first. Right, I don't want to hold them back. I want to give them that first, right? And I'll tell you what else is interesting, something you put upon there. We do quite a lot of face-to-face leadership courses for junior leaders.
Yeah.
And honestly, the first day I come in the room and I say, right, who wants to run a team? Only half of them ever put their hand up. I only half them say, yeah, I do. The other half actually don't want to, but they've been press ganged. So that's bonkers.
Yeah, but you've got to make it a really aspirational thing. So S3, if you were a leader, you got privileges, you got countdown cards. My God. Do you remember you used to get discounted in certain restaurants and stuff with a countdown card? We have countdown cards with the answer to everything. Bullshit. But the idea was you just make it an aspirational role. It's not just the money. You get a certain amount of kudos. You get a certain amount of extra lunches. You get to be part of the decision-making process. You might only be there 2 years and you could be running a team of 30 people.
Yeah.
Now that's, and if you weren't a manager for me within 18 months, what on earth were you doing?
Yeah. And unless you're one of those just absolute left fielders, had no interest in managing, just wanted to bill £1 million a year.
Yeah, do you know what? You have a cupboard where you just chuck a steak in once a month. And
exactly right. Right. 100%. Yeah, make sure they go on the incentive trip. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. No, I don't think we're a million miles away from each other. Again, Trev.
Do you know, every single one of our PG tips comes back to the same thing: the calibre of the people.
Calibre.
People of high calibre.
Perfect. Lovely talking to you, matey.
Listen, I wasn't the winner here.
I wasn't the winner here. Recruitment was the winner. Oh, brilliant. Peace and love, everybody.
All right.